Once again, back with another episode of a Nerds podcast. Today we have a pretty cool dude in the studio. Is it DEE MUNNY or DEE MUNNY? I'm make sure I pronounce it right.
It's DEE MUNNY.
DEE MUNNY. All right, cool. I knew I wasn't pronouncing it right, regardless of who I said. I knew I pronounced it. But man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me tonight.
Oh, no problem. I like having many people with many different professions on my podcast. I want to have a wide variety of people on there. And are you still doing professional wrestling?
I am still doing it.
That's all right, man. So how were you a fan as a kid?
I was. I grew up during the Attitude Era, and that's actually what got me interested in wrestling.
All right, that's all right, man. Now, how old were you when you first started watching?
I was 11 when I first started watching on the regular.
Okay.
Now when I was younger, WCW came to Macon, and my grandparents took me a few times. But like I said, I was young. I didn't really remember it, or I don't know. Maybe it didn't catch my interest like that.
Yeah.
I was 11. I was in middle school, and I saw all these people wearing these shirts that said Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who that was. But all my friends were like, what? You don't watch wrestling? I was like, no, what channel does it come on?
Okay.
So I go home on a Monday night, and I turn on Raw. I see Stone Cold coming out drinking beer and raising hell, and I was hooked from that moment.
That's all right. I like that. Now, were you an athlete in school? Did you do anything in school, like, sports or anything like that?
I'm not gonna lie, I was never really into sports,
Mm-hmm.
except for wrestling.
That's so good. I'm the same way. I never did anything, athletic in school, but and when I was a kid, that's the only thing that stuck with me is up into an adulthood. So I can relate.
Now, like my mom, she got me into baseball, but like she made me be there playing it.
Yeah.
I ain't really want to.
Okay. Now, how did you get? How did you get to a school, or how did you get to start training and become a wrestler? Who taught you? Who did you find out to become a wrestler?
So there was an independent show running in Fort Valley, Georgia, called AWN,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually own a ring.
Okay.
So they were having an issue where they weren't going to have a ring, and they were like, hey, can we put your ring in here, and you'll have access to this building. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. So when they were running shows, I just kind of showed up to help out, and people were there. And I just started. A lot of them went to Good Brothers under Luke Gallows.
Okay. Oh.
And so I started talking to them, and got the price and the info on how to join, and that's where I went to training with Good Brothers Dojo.
Okay. What? Now, there's many ways. Like I'm sure there's drills and stuff like that. Do you remember what was like the first time you actually got taught? What was it like being in the ring and someone showing you the ropes?
I mean, the first time you step in, you feel like a kid again.
Oh, I like that.
This is what you've seen on TV for years. Now you're finally there. So it's an exciting experience.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. Now, I looked you up on Facebook because I thought you were pretty cool. I like trying to find many professional wrestlers who are like nice enough to talk to me. So I appreciate you at least taking the time out and talking to me. Like what like territory are you under?
So there's a few different federations that I work for. The main one being GIPW,
Mm-hmm.
and they were running in Macon, Georgia. Just moved to Warner Robins, Georgia. That's the main one, but there's a few others. I've worked with Wrestle America in Barnesville.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with CWFG. They used to run in Dublin. Now they're in Swainsboro.
Okay.
I was working with Larry Otto, which is Gallows promotion.
Okay. That's cool.
So I mean, there's a few different places.
Did you? I might be mistaken, but did you wrestle under the Juggalo promotion?
No, I wish I could. I would love to wrestle at the Gathering.
Yeah.
I just growing up, I was into ICT and Twisted and all that. I consider myself Juggalo. So.
Okay. Did you ever get to go into a concerts or anything like that?
I've been to tons of ICT and Twisted concerts. I've met a bunch of those guys actually.
Oh yeah. I was like, what's a? We have. I'm from Lynchburg, Virginia, so we had like a Blue Ridge festival or something like that down here, and they would have a lot of like shows and whatnot. And if I knew ahead of time, I probably wouldn't have went because I think Blaze Dead Homie came down here, and so did I think Twisted did, but I didn't know anything about it, so I missed out on it. So it kind of sucked though, you know. I kind of wish I went.
Yeah, Boondocks is from Georgia, and before he became Boondocks, he was with an independent label called Southern Hustlers Inc. And that's actually how I met Boondocks, was through them.
Okay, that's all right. I like that. Now I know clear. You know you're still a wrestler. There's any promotions? Do you watch? You watch TNA or WWE? Do you ever watch any of those?
I haven't been too into WWE lately. I've been keeping up with AEW,
Yeah,
and now that they're working with Impact, I've been paying a little more attention to Impact.
yeah. Now,
And
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
NXT is closer to the indie side of things, so I watch that.
I like their promotion. I like theirs, and I do like Impact. Impact. Well, I liked it. I liked it more now. I don't know what happens to Impact. I think they're probably under new management, but at one time they don't get me wrong. They have all the talented people. I think the people who were running it didn't know what they were doing. That was my issue with Impact. It was not them. It was just the people running it. But I think they're getting better. So, much props to them.
Yeah, from what I've seen from Impact lately, I'm liking what they're doing now as opposed to some stuff from the past.
Yeah, like and I understand if you don't watch WWE right now because it hasn't been good for a while, and I don't know what the issue is. I don't have a magic wand or have the knowledge to change it, but they have people there that can do the job. So I don't know what's holding them back, and then I don't want to hear about no crowds because they've been like that before COVID, so they can't use that as an excuse no more.
Yeah, I don't know what they got going on.
Now, do you have a philosophy in wrestling? Do you have like some sort of like like a how like how you mold your character or something? Do you have anything like how you see yourself as a wrestler?
So, character work isn't, to me, it's not as alive as it once was.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you compare wrestling today to wrestling from say the 80s,
Yeah.
so many of these guys had characters and even would play multiple characters.
Mm-hmm.
But now guys just come out as themselves.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of hard to just be yourself in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to have a total package.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, go ahead.
You can be a super skilled guy in the ring, but if you can't talk on the mic, chances are you're not going to get super far.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I think basically that is a good that is true. A lot of wrestlers who have the total package and basically are like built like a tank, but then when you hear them talk, it's like I can't buy what you're selling. You're what you're
Right.
saying is nonsense.
I mean, that's also where good managers come in.
Yeah.
Like, look at Brock Lesnar. He's a freaking beast.
Yeah.
But he doesn't talk. He lets
No.
Paul Heyman run his mouth.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think it'd be less threatening if he talks more. You don't find him as threatening. Sometimes scary people see the least. It's like a big dog. Big dogs don't bark all the time. They don't have to. If you're a big Rottweiler, person see you, you can already sense, they can sense the fear in you. The only ones that do a whole lot of yapping is like little chihuahuas. But a big dog doesn't need to have a whole lot to say. And Brock Lesnar is like, he's built like a tank. He can throw the hands. He has the skill and the ability. All these. He has a total package. But you don't need him to talk. That would serve no purpose.
Right.
Yeah. Do you see, and I'm asking your opinion specifically, throughout the years, who would you say, and I'm asking you, who would you say is wrestlers that would consider the ones that stood out I'm going to say as a kid into adult? You don't got to name a whole lot of them. Just name ones you like and explain why you saw them as the coolest people or straight up badasses.
I already mentioned Stone Cold.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dude who caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
He would get on the mic and talk his trash, and he'd come out and he'd back it up.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'd celebrate with beer.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, The Rock.
Yeah.
Also a great trash talker. He backed it up. Ah, man. I've been watching for a long time, so the list could go on.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you don't get them I'm not actually like a billion of them. There's a here and there, because I'll tell you, as a kid, the people that I really enjoy watching, I like watching people like Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie Garvin was this dude with a crew cut, and he walked out to the ring, and all he had was his tights, and he had a towel with the initials R on it. And what he would do was, The Rock does it too. He does a version of the Ronnie Garvin stomp, but he would slam you, and then he would take his foot and he would stomp on every part of your body, and you wouldn't be able to move. I know it doesn't. Actually, probably would hurt if you stomped on someone's arm or whatever over and over again. But that was a dude that stood out to me as a kid. Or I would say this is kind of cheating, but I would say a person like Ken Shamrock, which is almost kind of he's known for UFC, but his character was him. Because if you watch him in UFC, that's still him. And he's playing a character. His character is like a Wolverine, like a psychopath. Those people stood out for me, and they're two different generations, but they stood out because they were the guy, the powerhouse, or whatever you want to call it. Do you have the? Go ahead.
Since you mentioned Shamrock, that makes me think of Steve Blackman.
Oh yeah, that's the dude right there. He's another one.
He was like a legit martial artist. He used to come out with them sticks.
Mm-hmm. That was a bad dude. Now, I know you know who Bret Hart is. Do you ever see him interview his dad, Stu Hart?
Bret Hart interview his dad?
Well, I think it did. Did you ever see the documentary Wrestle with Shadows?
I don't think I've seen that one.
If you don't have to buy it. I think if you go on YouTube and look up Wrestling with Shadows, it deals with Bret Hart's career and all that kind of stuff, and they actually show Stu Hart, who was a known grappler in his time, and I think he owned Stampede Wrestling. I think he was the promoter of Stampede Wrestling. But was a legit badass. He was a dude who would tie you up in knots. And he used to choke out Bret Hart on a regular basis, because he was that guy. He would put people to sleep. And so he had legitimate grappling skills. he was a dude. So if you ever get time, look it up. You'll be like, this it's a bad dude right there. Like if you ever get time, just check it out. You don't gotta buy it because I think it's free on YouTube. I'm almost positive it is. At least it has clips of it. It's
I'll
worth
have to look that up.
it's worth watching. Now, so you were so if you grew up during the Attitude Era, what was the thing in the Attitude Era that like caught your eye?
There was a good mix of character work and just badass guys. It just seemed like there was so much star power at the time.
Oh, most definitely. Now, do you remember any storylines that stuck with you? I know you were a kid, so I'm asking you a whole lot. So, if you can remember any of the storylines, it's cool. Just if it's like something insignificant, just one storyline do you remember that like, wow, this is crazy as hell.
Man, the Ministry of Darkness.
Oh, that was awesome.
When Undertaker had his whole crew with Acolyte,
Uh huh.
Viscera, he had this whole crew of guys that they were, tearing up everything, and then come to find out in the end, Vince McMahon's behind it.
Yep, it's me all along, Austin. It's me all along. Like, what?
Then you got the corporate ministry.
Oh, what?
He even had Undertaker about to sacrifice his daughter. And
Now, I don't know. They later said it was not true, and I'm kind of mad. I kind of wish this. I kind of wish that Jake the Snake Roberts was the leader of the ministry. I kind of wanted him to be so bad, but that would have never happened because he was not sober enough to do it so far. But they said,
yeah, I was about to say he wasn't in
mm-hmm.
good enough place for it.
But you think how cool that would have been? Just think about it. In a perfect world, just think how perfect that storyline was if Jake the Snake Roberts had pulled off his mask and he was in pretty good shape and started doing his dark promo. You talking about something? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still awesome. Don't get me wrong, but people would have lost their shit if he did that.
That would have been very interesting because, man, Jake's when he cuts a dark promo,
yes,
perfection.
He is a genius. He is probably one of the smartest people in professional wrestling. Has one of the greatest minds in professional wrestling, and he had a lot to offer.
Have you seen the movie Peanut Butter Falcon?
No, but I should watch it because I see it's on Amazon Prime.
So I've actually got a small spot in that movie.
You do?
I do. I'm sitting in the crowd
Cool.
at the wrestling scene. And so while we were recording that scene, for 4 days, I got to hang out with Jake the Snake and Mick Foley.
You're the coolest dude in the world.
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
You can't hang with Jake the Snake and Mick Foley. That means you're the coolest dude to me.
But yeah, being able, because like during lunch, we were all in one area, so we could just sit with these guys and eat lunch with them. So
yes.
Be able to sit there and pick their brains for those days was great.
Cool. I'm not asking you specific things, but what was it like just to hear Jake the Snake just talk about anything?
It was inspiring and insightful.
I like that. You said, go ahead. Sorry.
Because there were times I would be able to show Mick or Jake a clip, say, "What do you think of this?" And they, tell me everything wrong with it, or say, "Look, this isn't bad. You could do this better." And then them being, from the old school, they could say, "Why aren't you doing this? Like, you never see this anymore." that's one thing a lot of the older guys will tell you. Bring back some of the stuff in the 80s you don't see anymore.
I like that. I think that's pretty cool. To get that kind of like knowledge for someone who's seen and been through a lot. I think it's genius, though. Did you ever watch the interview with Joe Rogan when Joe Rogan interviewed Jake the Snake Roberts?
I haven't.
Go on YouTube and look up Joe Rogan's podcast, because he interviews Jake the Snake, and he also interviews like Diamond Dallas Page, and he interviews the Undertaker too, which is also, I have to say, most insane thing in the world that I cannot believe that the Undertaker is doing interviews. It's a weird thing. I just can't get over that. But the Jake the Snake Roberts one is amazing. I never get tired of hearing his stories. They're insane. You should check out that one. You'll like that one. But do you ever go back and watch old WCW not movies, matches and whatnot?
It's funny you mentioned that. There used to be a night at Gallows' house. We would hang out and drink and just watch nothing but WCW.
For real?
Yeah.
Did you ever enjoy any of the matches you watched with them?
Yeah, I mean, and again, it was a lot of stuff from early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they would be watching that stuff and looking for things to bring back that aren't really used today.
That's pretty cool. What is Anderson and Gallows like? Is like, to hang out with?
Be prepared to laugh your ass off.
They say they're some funny dudes. They
are hilarious.
What is it's on it's called, what is it called? It's called Southpaw Wrestling. It was YouTube's that John Cena and all them had created.
Yeah.
I wish that was real. That is my favorite thing to watch. It was the coolest thing ever. How they parodied old style wrestling promotions, and they did it to a T perfectly.
Well, he's kind of doing it now with the Talking Shop Mania. Have you seen those?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I watched quite a few of them. They're pretty good. I like them. I like the fact that it's I'm sorry if I forget. I'm probably sure I'm saying get a name wrong, but I think it was Luke Gallows who was like Fester. Is that right? Festus. Vince McMahon did not remember who he was. That's funny in itself. He did not remember that he actually signed Luke Gallows to a contract, and then when he was talking to him, he didn't remember he was Festus.
I mean, look at the transformation.
I mean, that's true. I agree. I mean, it is completely different. So I guess in a way, I would understand he would not remember. He does the best Stone Cold impersonation, I think.
It is great.
So what do you have going on these days now in your promotion? Got anything cool going on?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been on the shelf for a little while dealing with a neck injury, so
That sucks.
I'm preparing myself to get back in the ring, hopefully in March.
That's cool. Do you do any stretching? Do you have any physical therapy, anything to help out to get you back, like in fighting shape or something like that?
It takes getting back in the ring and training, going to the chiropractor and getting kinks worked out.
Okay, that's cool. Now, I'm gonna ask you I feel like it's like a silly question in a way. Like over over the years, well, I should say, how many years have you been wrestling so far?
Geez, I've been wrestling since about 2013.
That's pretty good. Do you have any who in like I would say who in a fantasy match who would like to wrestle if someone said like look man you can wrestle any of these people and you say the word and I'll let them make it happen, who would you like to wrestle in like a fantasy match?
Um, it, Honestly, I think I would have more fun wrestling another character workers.
Okay.
It would be difficult because I work heel and he was heel. Do you know that term?
Yeah. Who are you referring to?
So for those that don't,
Mm-hmm.
a heel is the bad guy in
Yeah.
wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Ted DiBiase.
I think you can make that happen. No, normally people don't like to see heels wrestle, but I think if a different circumstance, if it was let's say it was a storyline, and let's say that I'm gonna put you back in time, since you said Terry DiBiase, and I'm gonna put you back in time, and Ted DiBiase was like, his heyday in WWF. I would say in a storyline, since Ted DiBiase, and you would for some reason have it out with, Ted DiBiase would have it out with basically, Bobby the Brain Heenan. And let's say in this scenario, Bobby the Brain Heenan is your manager. I can see that happening. I can see a storyline for some reason that y'all would wrestle. I think that would work. Different.
I just look at it as we're both money based.
Yeah.
It could be it could be like a measuring contest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
Who has more money?
Yeah, exactly. Or let's say for sakes you say and you said and that is, it has to be like a match where some weird stipulation because in a Royal Rumble a lot of people fought each other. It wasn't like I've seen heels fight each other in Royal Rumble because they're trying to get that big brass ring, trying to get that chance so they can get that championship. So y'all could fight in there if y'all wanted to. It wouldn't make any difference. But I like that choice, Ted DiBiase, because that was a dude right there.
He was a big dude back then.
Now, do you said you're a heel? Do you prefer a heel over a babyface?
I feel like you can have more fun as a heel.
I agree. Especially in these times, it's hard to be a babyface because I think people know too much or see beyond whatever character you're portraying. Because I'll give you a perfect example of this is when Bailey from WWE when she became on the main roster and she was a bubblegum happy hugging lovable baby face, and when she like had injured her arm she was in the audience, she was in the she was saying to the crowd, hey, I'm gonna get myself well and I'm gonna get rehab and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna fight for you audience, and they booed her and she's a babyface and they all booed her. And that's why I think a heel, it'd be easier if a heel came out because you kind of heels you kind of want them to it's easier to be hated than loved.
Right. It definitely is.
Yeah. Now, do you like doing? Have you ever done any tag team work? And if so, what was it like to be in a tag team? How's the psychology in a tag team match? If you ever get a chance to do any of that?
I've done tag team matches here and there, and honestly, it's not bad because you've got somebody else who can take some of the workload. But it's nice if you got a partner you click with.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, you know, y'all can work together and not against each other.
Yeah.
It's not about one person or the other. It's about that team.
Okay, that's cool. Now, what was it like the first time? Now I know it's like you said it was cool to be training. Your very first match. Do you remember how it felt like your very first match to get in the ring and attempt your attempt to do what you wanted to do as a child?
Very nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get, like, it's hard to explain. You'll be thinking so much about the match, and then you're in the locker room, you hear the crowd, and it's like, oh man, there's actually people out there that are gonna have eyes on me.
Mm-hmm.
So you're nervous. It's a lot to take in.
Okay.
But once you get up there, the adrenaline starts going, and you just get into it.
I like that. It's cool. Hey man, I really appreciate you doing this podcast right here. I really thank you. Is anyone want to give any anything to look forward to you in the near future, or whatever you get a chance to get rehab back? Do you want to someone to look out for something you're doing, or just anything that might be you think is interesting you like to mention out there, so it'll be out there.
Definitely. March 13th is when I'm set to make my big return at the historical landmark arena in Cornelia, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supposed to go up against Dynamic Dexter.
Okay, that's cool.
And then March 28th, Warner Robins. I'm with GIPW. Not sure what I'll be doing there.
Okay.
I'm getting ahead. March 13th, I'll be in Swainsboro with CWFG.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm actually in a tag match that night.
Okay, that's cool.
They set me up in a team over there called
Awesome.
Cream.
Okay, that's cool. Look, man, I appreciate it again. Thank you, and hopefully, when you get back in the ring, I'd like to interview you again. Like, when you get back in the ring, that'd be really awesome.
Definitely.
All right, man. I appreciate it again. Once again, thank you, and I'll hit you up later.
All right, man. Thanks for your time.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Once again, this is DEE MUNNY, who was nice enough to allow me to basically interview him. And hopefully in the near future, I hope he gets back in the ring and get himself healed up, because he seems like a really awesome dude. And once again, I'm going to sign out on this podcast again. So hopefully, again, I might have someone tomorrow, interviewing. I can't remember the man's name, but, I know he's going to be a cool dude, another professional wrestler. So I'll be signing off and hopefully see y'all soon. See ya.